Hello, this is a video about my sheep waterer, my mobile sheep waterer to be more exact. So this is version 1.0. It's just a trailer, just a normal flatbed trailer with two 200 liters barrels on top. I've had the connector extended to fit my ATV. There's a leg in the front that supports the trailer, quite bent. It's basically on its last legs. The next version will have four like telescoping posts on each corners, and it most probably will be a 1000 liter IBC container similar to this one. But right now 400 liters is enough for 2 or 3 weeks in the summer. If it's rainy, the sheep will get all their water from the grass, so it's mostly for the dog. Each time water runs out, he's the first one to drink. He's most susceptible to no water. Anyways, when I started off, I had one of those paddle waterers, like where the sheep would push down a paddle and then water would appear. My dog and some of the smarter sheep were able to learn the system, but each time they just got a little zip of water. They were impatient to drink, and I saw some sheep using other sheep to push down the paddle, then they pushed the sheep aside, and then they stole their water basically. So on this side I've just added a temporary stand. It's just a mechanical stand to keep the corner up, because the post is not centered. It's really important for this to be level. So that's why the next version will have four of these stands, so I can just perfectly level it. And it's also good to have 4 stands, because then you can leave the trailer when you're like putting water into it. It takes like 40 minutes or something right now, and I have to have the ATV in front of the trailer because it's so heavy I can't get it back in later. But if it would have 4 legs, I just leave it standing. I can do other things with ATV meantime. So this water is a gravity water. It's very similar to the one you can find in your toilet actually. It's just a float. When the animals drink all the water, let's just simulate the drinking. And you can see it starts refilling again until it reaches its level. You can customize the level here. It reaches the level and then it stops the water. It's a good system. I like it more than the other waterers. I would recommend this for everyone. It's metal. Like, one thing you need to take into account, that sheep are itchy. They are really itchy, and all of this is like their favorite place to scratch themselves. So I've had the trailer being broken like multiple times by the sheep because they just scratched themselves, like toppled it over, or they're really destructive. And also, since it's an old trailer, I had to flatten all the corners, round everything, so there's nothing that's sharp that the sheep can can like hurt themselves with. I used to have this lid can be locked, but it's just easier to keep it open. Like at some extreme cases when I can't get this level, I just adjust this to the lowest setting. So if it's like this, you'll have some water in it. But right now it's perfect. If the sheep drink here, it's fine. But when the dog drinks, you can see there's like pieces of gravel and dirt in here. So I clean it out every few weeks. Usually when I reload it with water, I just give it a good wash, just to get all the algae out. That's why you really need to be careful. Like all of these edges, they collect algae. Right now there's like some algae growing here. Maybe you can see. It's harmless, but at some point the algae might be good growing grounds for some bacteria that's really nasty. It's good to just keep things clean. But the other thing is, right now what's at fault here is that birds perch on this and then they shit in the water. It hasn't happened that many times, but it's something you need to take into account. Like with the dog feeder, the birds will perch on the posts and then they will shit on the dog feeder and the dog. So right now I have all my hands contaminated with whatever bacteria the animals have. So I have this nifty little tap here where I can wash my hands. I'm not called Mr. Monk by my friends without reason. I just like to keep everything safe. Checking the water level is really high tech. You just peek inside. Yep, we have water. There's some algae growing on the bottom. Just normal green algae you find in ponds and stuff. It's safe. But also, yeah, you need to have tight lids on the drums, or else if birds perch on it, they will shit it. Like they will contaminate the water. And since this is the point of contamination, no contamination can enter the system. So all of this 400 liters is always totally clean and pure water. And what is really weird for me, like they are a bit like darkish color drums or barrels. But during like July, if they're in the sun, the water inside doesn't get really hot. But during the winter, if it's below freezing, this thing will freeze. At first it will freeze in the pipes in there. It will probably break this and then just crawl into the drum. So during the winter I can't use this system. I need a heated system of some kind, which I lack right now. My winter watering system is really inefficient. I just need, every day I give them water with just normal buckets from my well. So this is my mobile sheep waterer. You can see like there's a little hole in the drum. If you seal the drums tight with a lead, like you have these straps you can seal the drums with. I've on one occasion, like one of my first iterations, I didn't have the hole in the drums and no water came out to the water because there was vacuum in the drum and no air could get through, and it was like it was holding the water back. That's just my dog doing his job. And realizing it's not his job to bark at other dogs. Well done. Post all questions and comments below. Thank you for watching. Goodbye for the day.